December morning. And for those joining us from the World Wide Web, this is beautiful Jamaica, soft December morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, thank you for allowing your consciousness now to be focused on our message this morning. As you gently close your eyes, just join me in this opening affirmative prayer. In this moment, we recognize that the only power, the only presence there is God, living Spirit Almighty. I know for each one of us who have allowed ourselves to be avenues of expression of its Spirit, I know that this collective consciousness in our sanctuary and those in the virtual World Wide Web together, we realize that presence of love in our midst. It's that presence that conducts this morning service. It's that presence of love that flows out to bless our island Jamaica and indeed the very cosmos. It's that presence of a love that allows our hearts to be uplifted, to be filled with inspiration, as Reverend Michael brings a special message this morning. So I know that every word, every prayer, every song that is sung, we know it is the presence of God experiencing, expressing itself in, through as love, light, understanding, and wisdom. God on this beautiful Sunday morning. And we truly give thanks as the law now allows these words to fulfill this demonstration of love, light, and joy. This transformative power of God's love, light, and joy that unifies our hearts this morning. I truly give thanks that this is so, and so it is. Our inspirational reading this morning is taken from an essay by Dr. James Golden, who was one of our past presidents of Centers for Spiritual Living. He's from the Redding Church in California. And I read, Christ is the embodiment of divine sonship which has come, with varying degrees of power to all people in all ages and to every person in some degree. That epigraph is taken from The Science of Mind, authored by our beloved Dr. Ernest Holmes, honoring the Christ. December is a very meaningful and spiritually rich month of the year. As the year draws to a close, we are invited to reflect on what we have accomplished and learned over the past 12 months. It is a time for families and friends to spend together, remembering the years that they have shared and contemplating what possibilities lie ahead. It is a time when the brother and sisterhood of humanity seem to be more obvious and peace on earth more attainable. It is also the month when we have the opportunity to celebrate and honor the birth of Jesus, a truly great soul who powerfully and clearly embodied the Christ consciousness. The holiday season and the many different traditions and rituals that honor the birth of Jesus and the Christ consciousness creates an ideal opportunity for spiritual renewal and the deepening of our own awareness of the Christ consciousness. As the above quotation from Dr. Holmes indicates, the Christ consciousness is within us all. It is not something we are missing or have lost and hope someday to obtain by some means or another. It is something that we already possess as the very essence of who and what we are. both our challenge and our opportunity are to realize and embody more fully the Christ in our conscious awareness. This realization of our inherent divinity is the goal of the spiritual path and the ultimate purpose of our lives. It is our innate spirituality, as well as the example of that spirituality, so perfectly manifest in the person of Jesus, that we celebrate at this time of the year. So we celebrate at this time of the year the Christ consciousness. And this takes us into our praise song, which is a traditional folk song, as we use it to welcome all those who are coming back to Jamaica for this time, and those especially in our sanctuary this morning. This long time, gal, me never see you. Please stand and sing lustily. This long time, gal, me never see you. Come make me hold your hand. This long time, gal, me never see you. Come make me hold your hand. Peel head, jump, cross, sit down, on tree top, pick up the blossom. Make me hold your hand, gal. Make me hold your hand. This long time, gal, me never see you. Come make me walk and talk. This long time, gal, me never see you. Come make me walk and talk. Peel head, jump, cross, sit on the tree top, pick up the blossom. Make me hold your hand, gal. Make me hold your hand. Gal, me never see you. Come make me run. This long time, gal, me never see you. Come make me wheel and turn. Peel it, jump, cross it down the tree top, pick up the blossom. Make me hold your hand, gal. Make me hold your hand. Hold your hand. When they walk and talk. Make we wheel and we come down, girl. Make we hold your hand, girl. Make we hold your hand. Ah, I'm sure you enjoyed that. This ritual on a Sunday morning of lighting the candle on behalf of the youth, I treasure so much because they're indeed the lights unto our world. We're having Sunday school this morning. So welcome, welcome our children to our sanctuary this morning. And let us bless them with statements that we have been using for years. We love you. We appreciate you. We salute the Christ in you. We see you as shining lights unto your world. God is blessing you now. So it is. Okay. We'll have our TOL mission song. Sorry. I missed out our prayer for our center. Can we all stand and say that, please? Together, the Temple of Light, Center for Spiritual Living, is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate. To touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed And to God be the honor and glory forever. And so it is.
The
Temple of light, the temple of light, the temple of light. We are a people with a vision, one with spirit on a mission. To touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, to love and liberate anyone who comes into contact with us, anytime, night or day. The temple of light, the temple of light, the temple of light. We are a people with a vision, one with spirit on a mission. To touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, to love and liberate anyone who comes into contact with us, anytime, night or day. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that, Angela and our congregation. And now, our announcements for Sunday, December 12th, 2021. Oh, let me first say welcome, welcome to those first-time visitors with us this morning. Is anybody with us in the sanctuary that can stand, we can clap? Or we are all family again? Okay. Anyway, we still welcome you all to our hearts and to our beautiful temple. And as I said before, welcome home to those joining us who haven't been here for quite a while. And we trust that you will come again and again to share your consciousness with us. Wow, Christmas is in the air. I can smell it. Wow, we have this beautiful tree right here. And we truly give thanks to Messrs. Clive Thompson and Clive Edwards, who every year that I can remember for the past 10, 15 years have been donating this beautiful Christmas tree for our sanctuary. And this year it has been beautifully decorated by Crystal Jackson, who is, I think she's with us. I see her little head somewhere. Hi, Crystal. Thank you, thank you. I saw her working yesterday evening, late into the afternoon, and Sean with her, who gave us this beautiful floral arrangement as well. Thank you, Sean. And thank you, Angela, for providing those flowers from your garden. We continue to live stream every Sunday at 9 a.m. and on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. And afterward, you can enjoy the recordings from time to time during the course of the week because they are all available on YouTube. The schedule for our temple activities include our enriching classes conducted by our beloved ministers, and they are posted online on your Facebook page. To register for classes, kindly visit, please write this down, classes@templeoflightcsl.org. classes.templeoflightcsl.org, where you can also obtain the Zoom links. Discover this morning. Join Reverends Michael and John Scott for our usual 10:30 session where we truly just clarify our science of mind teaching as it's relating to our lives and affairs. And this morning, the topic is cute. All I want for Christmas. All I want for Christmas. So join us this morning. That should be very interesting. And tomorrow, 6 a.m., when your eyes are just barely opening, please join Reverend John Scott in Quiet Moments in the Garden. It's refreshing, and it is indeed insightful. On Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. on Facebook and the Zoom platforms, please join practitioner Carol Campbell for our spiritual enrichment service. The link will be sent out in all the mailing list. So please, Temple family and all those in the World Wide Web, please join us on Tuesday evening. Our messages every week are edited by Reverend Michael and available on our webpage in that section called TOL Blogs. And to get there, write this down again, templeoflightcsl.org. We invite you to log on to read these shortened versions of our talks. We're talking about classes, and this goes up to this wonderful workshop that is available on January 12th, 2022. The right start for the new year, our spiritual prosperity adventure. You know what an adventure is? Something that you're looking forward to, something you know that will benefit you. And to tell you the truth, there will be wonderful speakers that are going to be available. You can't miss it. And we still have that early bird offer of $26,250. However, this ends on December 15th, so what does that mean? You just have a few days for that window. So please, friends, please take advantage of this adventure that you will be undertaking for the year 2022. We continue always from this temple to respond with prayer to the challenges that arise from time to time. A practitioner is available to pray with you immediately following our service, every Sunday. On duty this Sunday is practitioner Jennifer Livingston, and the number to call is 876-289-0907. Did you get that? 876-289-0907. However, if you wish to speak to a minister from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 midnight, you can call us on the same number, 876-289-0907. Friends, if you feel moved to support our ministry, what we stand for, the truths that set us free, please visit our donate page at donate.templeoflightcsl.org. donate.templeoflightcsl.org. It has all our banking details. And I must say thank you for your generosity in spirit and your generosity in all that you provide for us to help us to become and to be that beacon of light that shines from Ferry Avenue. This concludes our announcements. Now you can join us in the singing of our first hymn, Ale, Ale, Ale. This is on your program if you're in the sanctuary, or it's on the screen for those watching with us. Together.
Ale, 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 I am the bread of life. Feed on me. I am the bread of life. Feed on me. I am the bread of life. Feed on me. Alleluia. I am Alleluia. Alle, alle, alleluia. Alle, alle, alleluia. Alleluia. I am the one true vine. Grow in me. I am the one true vine. Grow in me. I am the one true vine. Grow in me. Alleluia. way, the truth. Follow me. I am the way, the truth. Follow me. I am the way, the truth. Follow me. Alleluia. Alle, alle, alleluia. Alle, alle, alleluia. Alle, alle, alleluia. Alleluia.
Wow.
Amen.
Hallelujah. We clapping. We clapping. Our service so far is truly Jamaican. Don't you like it? Ah, good. Now, we have a message with a difference. Please help me welcome Reverend Michael and practitioner Carol Campbell this morning.
Thank you for that introduction, Reverend Ann, and good morning all.
Morning.
A blessed morning to you here at the Temple of Light on this light-filled morning and in sunny Kingston, Jamaica. And to you listening online. And a special good morning to you, Science of Mind practitioner, Carol Campbell. I ask you here to join me on the platform as I need your help with my talk this morning.
Why, you haven't written it yet, Michael?
It's not one of my regular talks.
Oh.
It's to be in the form of a dialogue. I need somebody to talk to.
In one of those deep introspective communings with your higher self, I suppose.
No, it's an exploratory talk with you.
I see. What exactly are we exploring?
We are exploring the connection between quantum physics and Jesus' teaching.
What do I know about quantum physics? I'm an artist.
You are also a religious science practitioner with years of training and experience. So you know a lot about Jesus too.
Well, what I don't remember, I can look it up. I have a Bible right here.
Don't strain yourself. That's a large Bible. And Carol, I've been learning about quantum physics. You see, I just finished teaching a course on it last week.
You saw a link between Jesus and quantum physics? Jesus lived 2,000 odd years ago, and I know that quantum physics was discovered very recently.
True, in the last 100 years.
So Jesus couldn't possibly know about quantum physics.
Not by name, but he knew truths about the universe that apparently quantum physicists are just discovering.
Huh. Tell me more.
Okay. There are 5 quantum physics discoveries mentioned in Shortcut to a Miracle. That's the textbook that my class used. The first one is, quantum physics shows that the universe is an undivided whole. Everything is connected.
Hold on. Everything doesn't look connected. Those trees outside are not connected. They're far from one another.
They're connected by the land that they're planted in.
Okay, but people are not planted. They're walking about on the land, unconnected.
True, I give you that. But have you heard about telepathy?
Mind reading? Yes.
Well, hundreds of scientifically controlled experiments have shown that telepathy is possible. That means human beings are connected mentally, by thought. That's why sometimes, and you would have experienced this, Sometimes when you think about somebody, the phone rings, and lo and behold, it's them.
Now I think about it, yes. And humans and animals, at least domestic animals like cats and dogs and horses, are mentally connected too. They can sense our emotions and intentions.
Exactly. And I'm sure that a lot of animal owners can testify to that. So what does Jesus have anything to say on the matter? You have the Bible.
Well, let's see. Well, he says we should love our neighbor as ourselves.
Right.
And we are our brother's keeper.
Correct.
That's sort of a connection. And it's illustrated by the parable of the Good Samaritan in Luke chapter 10. Remember it?
I certainly do. I certainly do. A lawyer asked Jesus, who is his neighbor? And Jesus answering said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, who stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. And by chance, there came down a certain priest that way. And when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise, a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked at the man and passed by again on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw the wounded man, he had compassion on him, and went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pence, and gave them to the host, and said unto him, take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee. Now, which of these 3 thinkest thou was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves? And the lawyer said, he that showed mercy on him. Then said Jesus unto him, go and do thou likewise.
Wow. Well, I didn't see that one coming. I was going to say that Jesus saying we should love is one thing, but not everybody loves others.
True. Does Jesus ever demonstrate that we are actually mentally connected? Actually, I mean, like telepathically.
Well, remember there are stories in the Bible showing he heals people.
By touching them, yes. Like the 2 blind men in Matthew 9, I remember.
But also at a distance by just speaking his word. Like the centurion's servant in Luke Gospel chapter 7. Jesus was in Capernaum, and a Roman centurion who had heard about Jesus sent elders of the Jews to him, pleading with him to come and heal his sick servant. The elders begged him earnestly, saying that the centurion was deserving and loved the Jews and actually built them a synagogue. Jesus went with them. And when he was not far from the house, the centurion sent friends to him, saying, Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof. I do not even think myself worthy to come to you, but just say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man placed under authority, having soldiers unto me. And I say to one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. Now when Jesus heard these things, he marveled and said to the crowd that followed him, I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. And when those who were sent returned to the house, they found the servant already healed.
I remember the story. And remember, he called Lazarus from the dead. But coming to think about it, he was close to the tomb because John tells us the tomb was a cave with a stone across the mouth. And Jesus came there. And so Jesus was within shouting distance.
Except that Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. And presumably further away than the centurion's servant.
Good point. I'll give you that. But even if those things never literally happened, as stories, they show that from that time, 2,000 odd years ago, people believed human beings were connected mentally, which is what quantum physics is showing now. And additionally, quantum physics is showing how it could work.
Really? I can't wait to hear.
You know that for hundreds of years, atoms were thought to be the smallest form of matter, right?
Yeah?
Well, quantum physics deals with things which are tinier, smaller than atoms, subatomic particles, they call them. And scientific laboratory tests show that our minds influence things at that level.
But why?
Now, I said that subatomic things were particles, but sometimes those particles, which could be think out very tiny marbles, sometimes those particles become waves. So if they are waves, you can see that our brain waves could link with them. Both are forms of energy.
Let me get this straight. Sometimes subatomic particles change from being like marbles to being like waves. So brain waves, light waves, gravitational waves, heat waves.
Correct.
What causes them to change to waves?
The quantum experiments, repeatable experiments, mind you, show that the intentions of the experimenters cause the change.
They know our intentions?
That is what the experiments show. The particles will start out as particles because the experimenters have the intention to measure them as particles. And if the experimenters change their minds suddenly in the middle of the experiment, get this, and want to measure them as waves, they change to waves to suit the experimenters.
Wow. So that means that quantum physics proves in repeatable experiments that the universe responds positively to our thoughts.
That's right.
Reminds me of the beginning of Genesis when God said, "Let there be light." And there was light.
Well, that was God speaking.
So, don't you see that quantum physics is showing that we are like God? We can create things in our environment with our intentions, just as God does.
You're correct. And that is what science of mind also teaches.
So, quantum physics is catching up with science of mind, right?
As well as Jesus, exactly.
But to get to catching up with Jesus as he influences things in his environment, here, in John chapter 2, verses 1 to 10, we read about Jesus' first miracle, changing water into wine.
Remember it well.
And here it goes. And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine. So Jesus tells some servants to fill the water pots with water, after which he told them to take the contents to the governor of the feast. And when the man had tasted the water that was made wine, without him knowing where it came from, he called the bridegroom and famously said, and I quote, Every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, And when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine till now.
Yeah. The story, by the way, also tells us that Jesus had nothing against wine.
Point. And in Mark chapter 4, we read about him calming the storm. And it goes like this. Jesus and his disciples were in a boat, and Jesus was sleeping when a furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat, nearly swamping it. The disciples woke Jesus and said to him, Teacher, teacher, don't you care if we drown? Jesus promptly got up and rebuked the wind and said to the waves, Quiet, be still. And the wind died down, and it was completely calm. Mark reports that the disciples were terrified and asked one another, Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him? What kind of man is this? Then there was a rather odd story of Jesus cursing a fig tree in Bethany because it had no fruit when he was hungry. The next day, the disciples saw that it was withered from the root. Peter said to Jesus, Rabbi, look, the fig tree you cursed has withered.
I remember it. And you know, it is in Jesus' answer that we realize the lesson he wanted the disciples to learn. It's a really important one.
Well, let me read it. Have faith in God, Jesus answered. Truly, I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, Go, throw yourself into the sea, and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. And when you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins.
As I said, a really important lesson about prayer. Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours, unquote. Those who didn't believe Jesus about the importance of having absolute faith in one's ability to bring about even major changes can believe quantum physics. Those experiments are repeatable. You can move mountains because your thoughts influence the atoms in the mountains. That's what quantum physics teaches experimentally. But Carol, I've saved for the last the most important point, that shortcut to a miracle makes about our influencing the universe.
Well, why save it? You could have told us first.
Because it is really almost incredible. It's about time.
Time? What about it?
Time seems to be relative.
Meaning what?
It expands or it contracts. Time expands or contracts and generally interacts with things going on around it, especially gravity. Albert Einstein, the famous physicist, showed how gravity warped what he called space-time.
Wow, I have heard something about that.
You notice any sort of time element in Jesus' miracles? You are the Bible expert.
Of course. His miracles are instantaneous.
Yeah.
Outside of the natural cause of events. The waves in the storm instantly obeyed his command to be still. The man instantly is able to stretch forth his withered hand. The blind men he touched see instantly. The water instantly changes into wine, and so forth. And to go back to Genesis, the formless universe instantly takes form when God commands it, and light instantly appears when he says, "Let there be light."
And here's the really interesting thing. Physics shows us gravity affects time. That is to say, it slows down time. So if you live at the top of a skyscraper or at the top of a mountain, you are living at a slower rate than a person on the flats who is closer to the center of the earth.
You're joking.
No. Of course, the difference is tiny. But you see, those people who are living in space, far away from Earth, higher than the skyscraper and the mountain, they are aging more slowly than people on the Earth. So if you had a twin sister who lived on the space station for a year, she would come back younger than you. This is what the experiments are showing. You might have heard, to become a little bit more mundane, that the GPS devices on Earth have to take the different rates of time from the devices in space into account, or we would be getting wrong information every time we used a GPS.
I should try to live in space.
Yes, you would age more slowly. But, Carol, it's very expensive. What we in religious science teach, of course, is that God is outside of time. That means you can pray to God to reverse something that appears to have taken place in the past in your dimension. There's a story, for example, of the relief package that arrived in an African village on the afternoon of the day it was prayed for, with, in the care package, exactly what was needed to save the life of a little baby. The package came from the United States of America and must have been mailed 3 months earlier.
I see what you mean. To God, everything is now.
That's correct. God is outside of time. I want to end with a rather sweet romantic story from Shortcut to a Miracle to illustrate that it's never too late. Let me give you a little bit of a preamble. It is important, and I'm reading from Shortcut to a Miracle, it is important to remember the spiritual principle that we magnify and increase that which we give our attention to. Our focus needs to be on what we have and not on what we don't have. So train yourself to appreciate everything in your life that you enjoy, everything that is fulfilling and enriching. When you do this, you're attracting into your life more people, things, and experiences that are enjoyable, fulfilling, and enriching. The most important thing you can do while you wait is to not wait. That is to say, make a commitment to yourself to fully and appreciate the life that you are living currently, and make your life as rewarding and fulfilling as possible. Now, almost every couple has an interesting story about how they met. And we all know many rather incredible stories about how they got together. And one story that illustrates several important points is the story I'm about to tell you of Marcia and Ted. Marcia and Ted met when she was 19 and in college. He was a little older, 23 at the time. Marcia was very attracted to Ted. He was everything she wanted in a man. But whenever they were together in the same group, he didn't seem to be aware of her at all. And then, after a couple of years, Ted became engaged to someone else in the group, married that person, and moved to another state. Although there had never been a relationship as such between them, Marcia loved everything that she knew about Ted. One warm summer evening, a few months after Ted had moved away, Marcia sat alone on the porch outside her home. She sat in the dark for a while and thought about Ted. She recalled his many wonderful qualities and thought to herself how there was no way that it would ever work out for the two of them, now that he had gone away. Unexpectedly, however, she looked up to the sky and called out in the dark, "If there is any way I can have this man, I love him and I want him." As she did this, Marcia felt a great feeling of release. She continued to sit on the porch for a while, and somehow something was complete within her. Something had changed. After that night, she was able to move on with her life, free of the unfulfilled longing she had previously experienced whenever she thought about Ted. You see, she had spoken her word, released it. And this also released her to get on with the business of her own life. Subsequently, Marcia graduated from college, met another fine young man, and married him. She raised a family of a son and 2 daughters, and lived a happy and fulfilled life. Occasionally, Marcia would run into someone from the old group who made some small mention of Ted, but she didn't see him, and they had no contact otherwise. Whenever she thought of him, she imagined him having a good life. It was 40 years after the night when Marcia had called out to the stars before she and Ted met again. 40 years. His wife had died, his children were grown, and he was moving back to the town where he and Marcia had met. She had lived there all these years, and now her husband too had died. Not surprisingly, the feeling was still there, only this time it was there too for Ted. It wasn't long before Marcia and Ted were married, and their life together truly was everything she had ever dreamed it might be. In fact, Marcia confided to me, this is the author of Shortcut to a Miracle. In fact, when Ted was younger, he was a bit cocky and arrogant. Now all that has mellowed, and I can hardly believe how lucky I am. Luck? Hardly. It was the setting of intention. And after all that, all I can say is namaste.
Silence. Wow. Thank you, Reverend Michael. Thank you, Carol. If it's one thing you have learned this morning, the power of thought, the power of intention, and science backs that up. Jesus saw that 2,000 years ago, and now we are learning the power of our own thought, the power and the miracle behind our own intentions. So the story, the link with the Bible, and indeed the conclusions from quantum physics means that as we leave this year and you're going into 2022, there's nothing to stop you. The power of thought, the power of our intentions, and to know that we were created in the image and likeness of that which is creative. So, what is the lesson today? We are going to go and do likewise. Right. Thank you again, Reverend Michael and Carol. Wow, we are going into a musical item that I don't have the words. I am going to just leave you to experience and feel. Reverend John and singers, the ensemble of... All right, I'm going to just leave Reverend John and singers.
Child, for thou art safe in heaven's keeping. Angels hover near, and they are here to guard thy sleeping. Shadows of the night will in the morning light be gone. Sleep, holy child, so meek and mild. Sleep on. At thy crib we find faith and hope have shined. Beaming, the light is beaming, gleaming to all mankind. Sleep, holy child, tonight in thee our hopes all rest. Matchless is thy worth, for in thy birth the earth is blessed. Sleep, holy child, thy coming brings a brighter dawn. Lord of light and love, from heaven above, our fears are gone. Holy child, so meek and mild, sleep on.
John Scott and Singers, new, the latest group to appear on the Jamaican scene. Next week, we'll hear them doing a reggae number. Thank you so much, Reverend Shand. Thank you so much, backup singers. That was quite beautiful. Let us now use our voices to declare the prayer of Jamaica. It is on your flyer if you're in the sanctuary, and on your screen if you're watching online. The prayer of Jamaica. Please stand. Together, the radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches.
The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island, Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established. And so it is.
And now we have our musical item, Once in Royal David City.
Once in royal David city stood a lonely cattle shed, where a mother laid her baby in a manger for his bed. Mary was that mother mild, Jesus Christ, her little child. And through all his wondrous childhood, he would honor and obey, love and watch the lowly maiden, in whose gentle arms he lay. All God's children we must be, and obedient, good and free. For he is our childhood's pattern, day by day, like us he grew. He was late and young and helpless, tears and smiles, like us he knew. Yet he cheers us in our sadness, and he shareth in our gladness.
Thank you. Let us now have the blessings of the love offering. It is found on an envelope if you are in the temple. And it is on the blessing is on your screen if you're online. Together. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive.
Be thou fruitful, increase, and multiply.
Bless, prosper, and enrich
everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs.
So
be it.
Thank you, Father.
And so it is.
Please join me now in the closing affirmative prayer, and then we'll have our peace song. We go within, and within we find God. We find God with all its blessings within. the blessings of peace, the blessings of joy, the blessings of abundance, the blessings of serenity and calmness. We find within ourselves God with its blessings of light and illumination and understanding. And above all, we find God, which is love. And we give thanks that God, which is love, and all those other blessings has been present with us in this beautiful Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living in beautiful Kingston, Jamaica, in this beautiful service. And we know that we have been using those blessings, the light and the wisdom and the love of God throughout our service. And we take those blessings with us as we go our separate ways. And we take the blessings and we share those blessings with family, with friends, with acquaintances. And because of this service, because of our openness and receptivity this morning, the light from this beautiful church has shone a little brighter into all the corners of this community, into all the corners of this island, Jamaica, and indeed, because nothing stops light, the light from the Temple of Light from our hearts has emanated and radiated into the rest of the world. And because of this service, the world is a better place, one that works more for everyone. This is the truth. I release my words into the law of mind, and I give thanks that as I have spoken, it is so. And so it is. Let us have the peace song. Yes, there is peace on earth.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our power, family all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in a perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in a peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with
If you have enjoyed our service this morning, please contribute to our temple. Go to donate.templeoflightcsl.org and you will see the donation details. Please join us tomorrow morning at 6 for Quiet Moments in the Garden with Reverend John Scott. Join us on Tuesday evening with Carol Charlton, who is going to be facilitating the Tuesday evening workshop. And of course, come back to us next week Sunday morning, same place, same time, for another Sunday service. Yes, yes.